On today's show,
we discuss Kawhi's historic game winner and whether the Sixers should keep their core together.
did CJ McCollum save the Blazers? Was the Nuggets season actually a success?
And we'll take another shot at predicting the NBA draft lottery winner.
It's Monday, May 13th. The Stars start now.
Good evening, sweet world, and welcome to The Starters, presented by Jack Daniel's Old No. 7 and Tennessee Honey. I'm J.E. Skeets, alongside me as always, Tass Mellis. We got the Aussie Lee Ellis, and over yonder, that's the bearded one, that's Trey Kirby.
Hey,
yo! Trey, what's up?
Well, I'm here at the internet looking for your best tweets at #TheStarters, and as you may have seen, Kawhi Leonard hit one of the all-time great playoff shots yesterday.
Yeah, he did.
Before bouncing in the first Game 7 buzzer beater in NBA history. Such a legendary shot, Lee had to recreate.
Off to Leonard, defended by Simmons. Is this the dagger? Is this the dagger? Is this the dagger? Is this the 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 dagger?
Cannot recreate Kawhi's shot.
So I guess not every shot is recreatable, even for the greatest living shooter on earth. But that brings us to today's question. What is the most unrecreatable shot in NBA history? Be careful with your answers, though. We've recreated quite a few. For instance, you might think it's Trevor Booker's no-looker Booker from a few years back, but guess what? Yeah, you can recreate that. Boom, Tass, knocking it in. Maybe not the first take, but
Very
eventually.
nice.
Maybe you think it's something more athletic, a 360-degree layup like Vince Carter did a few years back, but our 40-year-old can also do an almost 360 layup. So maybe the simplest answer is something more like a half-court shot from a fan, because we have had 5 years worth of chances to make one of these, and I don't think it's ever gonna happen. Oof. They're tough.
It's in.
Apparently, these are very far. Nonetheless, we want to hear from you. So let us know on Twitter, what is the most unrecreatable shot in NBA history? Send them to us at #TheStarters. We'll hear from you later.
All right, get your tweets in. On tonight's show, we're going to talk about the Blazers' Game 7 win on the road in Denver. We're also, once again, going to try an attempt to predict the 2019 NBA draft lottery winner. That's why you see all these sandwiches in front of you right there. We'll explain that later in the show. And Lily has a very solid play, but let's start with a little true or false, looking at the greatest game in the history of sports. Game 7 between the Sixers and Raptors. Trey, take it away.
Kawhi Leonard saw Damian Lillard's season ender in round 1, decided to warm up him. Because yesterday, Kawhi hit a 4-bounce buzzer beater to beat the Sixers, sending the Raptors to the Eastern Conference Finals for just the second time in franchise history. It's a win we will always remember in our heads, but true or false? This is the greatest moment in Raptors history.
Yes,
True.
This is the Toronto Raptors. It's not a whole heck of a lot of competition here.
Right.
Even if Kawhi is just passing through for a season, it doesn't matter. They just did something that hasn't been done in NBA history.
Right.
Game 7 buzzer-beating game winner. And I think this does something else for Raptors fans as well. Raptors fans carry around this stigma with them, that they're not good enough, that they have to be insecure because of just the way their franchise started. It's happened for a very long time. It's slowly been chipped away with the DeMar era and Masai Ujiri telling everybody to respect this team. They got an all-star game. And I think finally there's a basketball accomplishment that goes along with that.
Right.
You can just say, hey, we're good enough, we're smart enough, and we can be basketball fans in Toronto. That was a heck of a shot. Everybody is happy in Toronto for a day.
And for a day, and we'll take it. Like, time stopped there, let's be honest.
Oh, the way it happened was
time
amazing.
stops when that ball hits that first rim, and everybody, I think I'm speaking for everyone here, thought it was short. This game's going to overtime. Jimmy Butler's done it. He sort of caught fire late. And then when it bounces the second time, it's suddenly it's obviously within a split second, but you're like, hold on, it's over the rim. This might work, and it dropped. I went bonkers, and I think it's cool too. It was Kawhi doing this. He really did win. This is some exaggeration, I obviously get that, but he sort of basically won 3 games for the Raptors in this series. Game 1, 45 points, that's his postseason high. Game 4, 39 and 14. He hit what some thought maybe was the greatest Raptors shot in playoff history, that sort of dagger 3. And then he does this with the 41 points. And he didn't have it going. Like, he was 10 of 30 heading into the fourth quarter. He looked tired. Every jumper looked short. That's the ironic part. I was texting my buddies, oh man, the jump shot just looks short. Maybe he's just a gas, he's tired. And then, of course, he puts more arc than any shot I can even imagine because he's got 7'2" Embiid. Challenge him, great defense, and then he gets all these lucky
Throw the
bounces.
box score out, though, in a
It's
Game
a-
7. You
right.
just have to win. You don't care
It's a
about
rock
anyone's
fight, as
numbers.
people call it,
But, you
yeah.
know, Kawhi talking about that shot, he had one not too long earlier to that where he said Embiid came out and he came up a little bit short. So he kind of knew that he had to get it up as high as he could, and those long fingers, maybe that sort of helped him there because it really...
Honestly, it may have helped.
Yeah.
It was like 0.03 of a second, I think, when it left his fingers. And everyone, I think everyone just assumed, okay, overtime, fine, we've got a chance here. But knowing Toronto's sports history, you sort of figure, Jimmy Butler, he's just going to get rolling in that overtime period and the Raptors will probably lose. But it was obviously that moment really is the Vince Carter moment successful back against Philadelphia in 2001.
To some extent.
When Vince had that shot, he had a better look, a cleaner look, and just couldn't knock it down. And that was almost like for the Raptors, like finally, it took us 18 years. Incredible Vince is still in the league, actually. Everyone else is long gone by now. But, you know, this was the moment that the Raptors could have gone on to the conference finals, ironically, to play Milwaukee that year as well and couldn't do it. But you sort of felt that was the start of something with the Vince era and the Toronto era. Unfortunately, it didn't really go too much longer after that. But now the Raptors are in a position because of that shot from Kawhi that now has people hoping and believing that this could be the start of something. And it's just finally good to see the Raptors on the right side of a crazy moment like that rather than being the ones whose hearts were broken.
Well, Kawhi should have been gassed because he was shooting essentially every time down there. It reminded me of that game because Iverson was shooting every time down for the Sixers, and Kawhi had to do that for this Raptors team to win. And I think on the other end, you said Jimmy Butler, Kawhi was on him. For the first time in the series, that was his primary assignment, and he did a heck of a job on Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler was kind of quiet in this game, and he had to do a lot of the scoring. This was Kawhi's performance, and you know I was watching this game along on Twitter like I often do. Thankfully, I shoved that computer machine to the side before that shot because a lot of these things were happening in real time. Somebody could have tweeted that as it went down, and I would have saw that tweet first. Because
you gotta be careful with that.
they were coming in fast and furious, and Kawhi deserves all the credit in this game. But there were some performances like Kyle Lowry being gutsy. Forget the stat line; he was phenomenal in this game. The offensive rebounds, the Serge Ibaka show. How was
Serge Ibaka hit 3 threes, and he was 0 for 9 in the first 6 games of the series from downtown.
Stepping into them, but Kyle Lowry was the heart for this team. So I'm glad that Kyle.
He must have some bruises on his body this morning.
The fact that he's doing that, he had his thumb out of position. He had to get his thumb popped in. I was glad to see. We've talked about this last decade as a Raptors fans that Kyle Lowry was a prominent player in this. And again, forget the stat line for him. Because it wasn't the sexiest of stat lines. It wasn't the sexiest of basketball games, but that's what happens in Game 7.
I'll be honest, I'm still sitting here, and I don't truly believe that shot went in and the Raptors advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals for only the second time in their history. Like, I couldn't concentrate watching Game of Thrones. First thing I did when I woke up this morning was make sure that actually happened. It wasn't a dream, because it does feel sort of that surreal for the franchise like the Raptors that don't have a ton of success. That's the honest truth.
Well, and just before that allowed Jimmy Butler to get the layup was Kawhi missed the free throw, and he's like 89% from the free throw line, and it was like, oh my God, just
eerily reminiscent of when Kawhi missed a free throw against the Miami Heat in the finals, and then that led to the Ray Allen shot. And all, I know.
And Marc Gasol, I think, was sort of unheralded in this game too, because he did a heck of a job on Joel Embiid. You said Kawhi Leonard won 3 games for the Raptors. Well, Joel Embiid won 1 game for the Sixers. I mean, his plus-minus was amazing. Out there, he makes a huge, huge impact, but he didn't score the basketball a lot in this series. Because of Marc Gasol. Marc Gasol was a huge factor in that. He essentially stopped, one of the best players in the NBA one-on-one.
We got so much to talk about when it comes to the Sixers. I think we can do a lot of that on the Drop podcast. They got a lot of questions as they head into the offseason. Their coaches, some of their players who are big free agents, and we'll start talking about the Bucks and the Raptors on tomorrow's Drop podcast and tomorrow night's show. But when we come back, we got to talk about that other Game 7 on Sunday. It wasn't bad either. CJ McCollum completely saving the Blazers season. Don't go anywhere.
The Starters is presented by Jack Daniel's Old No. 7 and Tennessee Honey.
Welcome back to the Starters. We already talked about the Eastern Conference. Let's play True or False with the Western Conference. Let's get into it. In Game 7, the Blazers switched their watches from Lillard time to McCollum time, and the change paid off big time. Because with Lillard struggling to find a shot, CJ went for 37, had the chase down block of his career, and hit a monster step back to ice the series for Portland. Guys, true or false? CJ McCollum saved the Blazers.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. He was brilliant. And how good is this for Portland to have Lillard have, by his standards, an off game, and CJ just goes up and takes control of this game and wins on the road. They were down big early on.
17 at one point.
And I thought, you know what, the Nuggets are just going to run away with this one now. On the at home in front of that crowd, the Blazers just won't have enough. And CJ just took it on his shoulders and went and didn't just settle for like 3-pointers and try to bomb his way back into it. Drove inside, got layups, had those step backs, and even told his coach late. He said, flatten it out, I'll go get a bucket. And he
Yeah.
did that. And that was what is so impressive to me because, you know, they're not going to go in as favourite against the Warriors, even though Kevin Durant's not out. But knowing they've got two guys who can win you a game, that is huge.
Yep.
That is huge. And the confidence they're going to have from CJ out there doing that is just going to be so important in this next round.
It's monstrous. It shows how monstrous their locker room is, the connection on their locker room, that they're down that big, and in a Game 7 on the road that they can put it all together, not just CJ McCollum, not just Damian Lillard, but the entire roster.
Yeah.
A roster
Scott's
that...
played like 10 guys in this game.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. That's, you know, we looked at it for the last few years and thought, oh, those 2016 contracts that they signed are just not going that well for them. And I'm talking about Mo Harkless and Evan Turner and Myers Leonard. All those guys produced in this game,
Yeah.
produced all series. And CJ was the guy in Game 7, but he was the guy all series. Damian Lillard put up numbers, not on great percentages. CJ McCollum was the guy that they could depend on the entire series
Yeah.
because they took Dame out of it to some degree and he
Right.
couldn't really find his flow. And CJ said, all right, I've seen this movie before. I've been in this league long enough that I can do this. And finally, they've made their first conference finals together because they've come up short
Yeah.
plenty in their career, and this is the time.
In must-win Game 6 and 7, McCollum averaged 33, 7, and 2 while shooting 55% on a majority of jumpers
Yeah.
that had LeBron all excited on Twitter. And he had 0 turnovers
Yeah.
in those Game 6 and 7 when he was basically the dominant ball handler, splitting through some sort of tough doubles that would come out. That's just an unbelievable performance. And he knew it. I loved his post-game interview after the game. Yeah, he was like, yeah, I do this. This is me. People doubt me and I do this. It was unbelievable. And he did. And the Nuggets went cold. I mean, they couldn't hit a 3. And they missed their final 17.
Same thing happened in Game 7 against the Spurs.
That's exactly right.
They get away with it in that game.
Yeah.
But it catches up with them here.
That's exactly
And
right.
we showed you Dame there real quickly, bad first half, and turned it on in the second half.
Yeah.
I thought he played a good game in that he didn't try and shoot too much. He didn't try and go to Dame time, as Trey mentioned. He did enough
Yeah.
to help his team win. That's what a leader does.
Trey, next one.
The Denver Nuggets hadn't made the postseason since 2013, but not only did they make the playoffs this year, they won their first series since 2009 when they beat the Spurs in round 1, like you guys were saying. On the other hand, they did just lose a Game 7 at home after being the best home team in the league this season. Nuggets were flirting for the #1 seed all year long. True or false? This Nuggets season was a success.
That's true. I think it was true in that Game 7 after they beat the Spurs and somehow pulled that out despite going cold from 3. I know the Spurs weren't shooting much better in that game. But winning a playoff series with this very young core, this is the 8th youngest playoff team in NBA history. They don't have a lot of old vets on this team. It's really Millsap, and that's sort of it. Even their bench, a lot of guys that contribute off the bench are fairly young guys. So this is absolutely a win because then we also saw Jokic turn into a superstar.
Yep.
Some people thought, maybe this guy's just a regular season guy, gets those big numbers, he's on the Nuggets, yeah, they win games. Let's see if he can do it in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And there's actually pressure, and there's some doubles coming his way, and all that. And he got better. He got better and, cemented himself as easily a top 10 player in this league and one of the best centers. So I don't see how this isn't, a success, a win-win for this one.
I definitely wondered. Big numbers, but big guy. Was he going to be able to just survive
Yeah.
a strenuous postseason where, you see a lot of guys coming at him, but not only just the round 1 win, but going up until the last minute of a Game 7 in the second round against a team, again, that their main guys are in their 6th and 7th seasons, and McCollum and Damian Lillard wanted to get to the conference finals. It is a heck of an achievement with a lot of young guys.
Michael Malone was obviously disappointed to lose, but you could see in his post-game press conference, he was like, listen, we're going to learn from this, we're going to grow, we're going to get better. He likes the direction of the team. There's no real egos on that team either. You don't sort of feel that any guy right now is like, I got to get more shots, I got to get my time. And as they grow together and learn together, they're just going to become stronger. They've got that home court. That's always going to be a huge advantage for them. And now they've got like an all-star already in Jokic, and Jamal Murray is certainly, his career trajectory is taking him in that direction as well. So you've got to like where the Nuggets are going to be in the next 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah, and they won 54 games in the regular season, and that was with having some pretty pretty key injuries to some guys. Will Barton missed a good chunk of time. Gary Harris, Millsap missed 12 games. So, they have question marks too. Is Millsap even
sure.
back in the mix? Do
Yeah.
they get more guys to bring in here? Do you keep everybody happy with their minutes? But that's a very successful season for sure. Getting into the playoffs and then beating the mighty Spurs and then taking the Blazers 7. Very, very entertaining series. Got to take a break. When we come back, hope you boys are hungry.
Yep.
We're going to attempt to try to predict the 2019 NBA Draft Lottery winner by eating peanut butter sandwiches
Who's that
Easy.
weirdo?
Easy.
and something else.
What?
I'll tell you after the break.
Jelly?
A poop.
Poop.
The NBA Draft Lottery is tomorrow, Tuesday night. Get things underway here on NBA TV at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, right after the starters. Guys, over the last 5 years, we've attempted to predict the Draft Lottery winner, and we've had minimal success, all right? 2014, Lee threw darts at a big board. We got that one wrong. 2015, Trey risked his life bobbing for apples. We got that one wrong. 2016, Tass actually got this one right. He had the Sixers, that one won. Then we, in 2017, played beer pong. We got that one wrong. And then 2018, a blindfolded Trey Kirby caught a lucky balloon. And we got that one wrong too. That said Bulls, but we got it wrong. So we're 1 for 5 overall, gentlemen, but here we go again. Let's try and predict the winner. Got a weird one this year, all right? 100 plates representing the lottery odds for all the lottery teams are out there. 99 of them have straight up peanut butter on them, okay? But one out there has Vegemite and
Awesome.
sardines.
Oh, not so awesome.
We have no idea. We have no idea where this plate is.
Why didn't you just
And
leave
we
the
have
veggie-
no idea what logo is under the plate. Okay? So let's look at the odds as we head into this for the 2019 Draft Lottery. The Knicks, Cavs, and Suns, they got 14 plates out there. The Bulls following them, then the Hawks, and then so on and so on. You see it all there. So again, we got to eat our way through these 99 peanut butter sandwiches, 1 Vegemite and sardines. So when you're ready, have at it, I guess.
All right.
All right,
There we go.
this one looks
This
disgusting.
sucks. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I got
Grab the plate.
No good.
Timberwolves, sorry guys.
No,
Uh-uh.
My mouth is dry already.
Wrong.
Come on, guys. Come on, guys.
Nope.
I'm hydrating. Let's go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got hungry.
Definitely bring the water over.
No good, sons.
Oh.
I'm on my first one still.
Sorry, Hawk.
Our producer's yelling at us to pick up the pace. You can't talk.
Timberwolves. Sorry, buddy.
Nope, nothing.
What do we got?
Cavs, nope.
No good.
I found 2 no.
Kobayashi.
Oh, I'm full.
Nope.
No.
I'm sorry, son.
Oh,
They put it over there. They put it over this way.
It wasn't gonna be close.
holy man.
Oh.
I like that these are lightly toasted.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Nope. Oh my goodness.
No?
I'm getting a lot going in the mouth here.
Come on!
Oh, the water helps so much.
Oh man.
No, sorry, Nick.
This one looks
Nope.
thick.
Bulls. Sorry, guys. Sorry, one of them also has coughs on it. Bulls again? Come on!
I got the
Come on!
I got the cop one. Maybe it's a lucky one.
Whoa. I thought that was going to be it for some reason. It's not.
I can't even get this food out
I
of my
know.
system.
All right. I'm back.
Welcome back,
I just
man.
got some water.
I'm just trying to clear a corridor.
What?
Nope.
Nope.
Oh, I thought that was it for sure.
I should be able to snip out the Vegemite, but I can't.
Nope.
I gotta evacuate a little here.
No. Smart.
God, that's like my number 3 and 4 that were still hanging.
Oh, man.
Is there a sardine on one of these?
I know. Is this a cruel joke? It's like a pick and payoff. No. Sorry, son. Oh.
I'm done!
Okay. Hold on.
Yeah.
The 2019 Draft Lottery winner is Villanova!
You did it.
You have to eat the whole sandwich though.
Yeah.
Or it won't come true. Those are the rules.
Oh my God.
Come on, Tennessee. It won't
can
come
do it.
true.
That's
No
it.
problem.
Do it for the Hawks.
Zion down at the fortress.
Vegemite and sardines. Yummy. Way to go, Hawks. All right. Thank God, Chaz, you found that.
Oh my goodness.
We did it! Zion, come in here.
That was a lot grosser than I thought it was going to be.
Oh my goodness, yeah. We didn't even get the sardine.
It's a lot more difficult than I think we thought it was going to be.
Where's that trash can?
Welcome back to the starters. We have predicted the 2019 NBA Draft Lottery winner. Taz found the Vegemite and sardine sandwich,
So jealous.
and it was the Hawks.
Ah, yeah.
Taz was taking down some water so we could talk.
I'm sorry I held it upside down.
All right. We asked you, what's the most unrecreatable shot? Just like Kawhi's quad bounce there last night. What do you got there, Trey?
A lot of good answers. A lot of people say Michael Jordan's layup against the Nets. This would be the most uncreatable. I don't think we can do it, so maybe we can stick to another Bulls legend. Recreating the same shot, Brian Scalabrine. But my favorite answer, of course, gotta be Isaiah Ryder trying to save the ball. Chucks it over his shoulder. Drano from nearly half court. What do you think, Lee? You think you can pull this one off?
Yeah, well, it might take me a few takes, but yeah, we can give it a shot.
know you're
Somebody get
willing to
Kaplan
risk
on the
it?
phone.
Yeah, where's Cat?
Yeah, we'll give it a shot.
All right, we had some coaching news over the last little while. Frank Vogel is reportedly going to coach the Lakers. Jason Kidd's going to be an assistant.
Oh, the starters bump.
Juicy, yes.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that on the Drop podcast tomorrow. And then John Beilein from the University of Michigan, 5-year deal to coach the Cavaliers. This one's sort of out of nowhere. But again, we'll talk about those on the Drop podcast tomorrow. Lily,
Yeah.
hit me with that very solid play.
Well, it's kind of a double-ender here from the Raptors. Freddie Van Vliet here. Look at this great steal. Now he's going all the way against Joel Embiid. That's ambitious. He gets the block, and look at Kyle's hustle there to surge. Lays it in. Beautiful. That's what I call a very solid hustle play from Kyle, using that body.
Wow, long title.
Wow, that's catchy.
All right, we got the Drop podcast tomorrow. Lee, that was such a weird, very solid play. You
Yeah.
confused our editors. Our editors had to be like, is this the play he
Yeah.
meant?
Well, that's a good heads-up play. You know, when you're Kyle, he's making those plays, winning those games, recreating those moments.
It was very solid. It was very solid. Well, cheers to the Atlanta Hawks on probably winning the
Peanut
NBA
butter
Draft
right now.
Lottery. We'll see you guys on the podcast. And tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern. Cheers, gentlemen. One more for the road?
No, thanks.
One more for the road?
thanks.
No,
Lee,
Yeah.
one more for the
all right,
road.
All right.
I had to do this. I had to do this.
Let's do it.
My throat's a little itchy right now. Congrats to the Hawks.
Woo! Caca!